Welcome to Bubba's Backyard Secret Garden. Today is going to be the start of a 12 video series that leads us up to the weigh-offs in October. Today it's going to be seed starting and germinating seeds and replanting them into bigger pots. So worldwidegiantgrowers.com welcomes you to 2014 gardening. Here we are today. I wanted to discuss a few different ideas on what we do here at worldwidegiantgrowers.com for starting the seeds out. There's several different methods that are successful, ones that I use, ones I don't use. I'm going to show you some of both. Anyways, a lot of people start their seeds. Here's some pumpkin seeds right here. This is pretty much a must to soak your seeds for like 1 hour. You can add like 10% hydrogen peroxide, even 5% probably enough, and let them soak for an hour. The hydrogen peroxide will kill any cooties on the outside of the cores. And then from there, some guys like to wrap them in a wet rag. They take the seeds out and wet paper towel. Some guys just use a paper towel or a rag. The one thing to remember is you need oxygen to ignite root growth. They wrap the rag in, throw it in a Ziploc bag, seal it up so it doesn't dry out, and then place that in a heat chamber. Here's my heat chamber here. And put a lid on it. Keep it warm. You're talking 80, 85 degrees. For 2 to 4 days, they should pop a root. Typically, they'll pop a good seed will pop a root in 2 to 3 days. And then from there, they take the rooted seed and put it in a pot. I don't like that method. It hasn't worked good for me over the years. I did find out that soaking the seed was very important as part of that, and I hadn't been doing that. But anyways, what I like to do is I like to take the seed starter mix, which comes, you can buy it sterile. It's sterile, and you want it, this is too dry right here. This actually, it needs to be a little wetter. You want it where it'll ball up and stay in a clump. And from there, it balls up and stays in a clump. You place your seed in there that's been soaking for an hour or two, and you place them with the crown down. Always remember, well, some guys like to plant them sideways. You can plant them sideways, about 1 inch deep, and they say when they come up they'll pop their shell off. Or you can plant them point down. Don't plant them with the crown down. The root comes out of the bottom point, so at least do them sideways or down in that method. Dampen them. You want to keep them a little bit damp. What I like to do is I like to place a lot of them in my incubator. Here's my incubator here. I started these melons a few days ago, and then I'll take a sheet of saran wrap and cover the tops of all of them together. So I want them to stay damp. And after a couple of days, then I'll come through and I maybe spray the tops again with my sprayer to keep them moist. You don't want them soaked though. Soaked seeds will not germinate. Always remember you need oxygen to germinate seeds. So we've done that. And what I've got going here now is these watermelons I started on April 8th. Today's April 13th. So these are 5 days. It took them 5 days to pop up. They were popping up at 2 to 3 days. That's the way I like to do it. And so what I'm going to do now is inoculate them. We have our 3 root mass expanders, Piranha, Tarantula, and Voodoo Juice. And I am going to shake them a little bit. And the directions are 2 milliliters per liter. I have marked that black line on that squirt bottle there is 2 milliliters. So there we go. And I actually have, this is actually 2 liters of water in here, so I'm going to do a double squirt. We'll do this with all 3 of them. This is the Piranha. The Piranha is your trichodermas. The trichodermas, has been explained to me, is like putting a condom over the root of the plant to protect it from disease. So make sure you don't send your plants out into the storms without their rubbers on. Make sure you send them out with protection. That's your disease protection. Voodoo Juice. Voodoo Juice is your bacillus. Your bacillus, which is compared, a lot of people have compared this to Companion. Companion is a biological fungicide, which is a natural way of protecting your plants from disease. This is also 2 milliliters per liter. We squirt it in the water. But all 3 of these combined, and here's your Tarantula. Your Tarantula is your mycorrhiza. This is your mycorrhiza. The 3 of them combined are going to give you the biggest root system you probably have ever seen. I do believe these are the finest products on the market for giving you a big root system, and we want to start them out young. We're going to start these plants out young. We're going to re-inoculate them every 2 weeks up until about July. And you can follow the videos. I'll have a video every 2 to 3 weeks. We'll have a video as we progress with the plants. I'm going to stir these up, and actually what I'm going to do here, I'm going to pick one of these 291s. I believe this is a 291 Kent. This seedling just grew the 350-pound world record in the Smoky Mountains by my good friend Chris Kent. Now he grew that on a grafted plant. But that being said, these here are all traditional plants. I tried a couple grafted plants last year. We had lousy weather. I didn't do good with them. I am inoculating all of these seedlings right now, so that you're going to get the root mass expanders to them now, so they can start expanding in their pots. And then I'm actually going to transplant all of these in a minute. I'll show you the bags I'm going to transplant them into. But that watermelon that Chris grew was on a grafted plant, which there's still a little bit of stigma with that. I grew, some of the guys haven't quite accepted the grafting methods yet. They grafted them onto a Lagrania stock. I'm not real good at pronouncing all the words, but anyhow, some of the people haven't really accepted grafting as being, but the world record holders, the Great Pumpkin Commonwealth, have accepted it. It is official. It is a world record. This year I'm growing traditional. I'm not grafting. There's kind of the stigma on it. Is kind of like, you know, I grew the 3 watermelons. In 2011, I had 3 watermelons. The biggest one was 260 pounds. That was a traditional melon. I called them the Melon Sisters. Well, had they been grafted plants, they would have probably been called the Silicone Sisters. It's kind of how they're treating the grafting. It's kind of like it's the Silicone Sisters of today, not the real thing, you know, the real McCoy. So with that being said, I think that'll change in time. People will come to accept it. But moving along here, what I'm going to do also is I'm going to take this 291 Kent. We're going to transplant this into these new bags. Last year, I used pots, and I had cut the pot in half. What did I do with that pot, Mike? I cut a pot. Oh, here it is. I cut a pot in half. You take a pot, cut it in half, duct tape it back together, and then you can actually transplant into that. This pot's probably big enough to last a watermelon 2 to 3 weeks. Watermelons are slow growers. This year I'm going to try something different. The guy at the hydro store, go down to your local hydro store, gardening store, he gave me a suggestion to try these bags. These bags are very inexpensive. This is a 2-gallon bag. What I did is added the duct tape. I wanted a better handle because I'm afraid if I'm in a hurry, I have a nice plant going, grabbing this wet bag. So what I did is I took and added this duct tape and made a couple of handles. And on the handle I wrote my 291 Kent. This is the mother of the world record seed that's going in. So, and then what I also did is I added a paint stick right here. This paint stick, and I'm going to put one on this other side. When I go to transplant, all I'm going to do is take a razor blade and cut right down on this paint stick. So I'm not cutting into any roots. And then this bag will just fold right off, because I'll do the same thing on this side. Paint stick, razor blade both sides, let it fold off, and it's in its hole. It'll be transplanted. But what I'm going to do right now, I've got this filled with some nice potting mix. And it's not a woody one. This is one that's highly recommended. Doesn't have a lot of wood in it. Stay away from the brands that don't claim to have a lot of wood. If they're not wood free, pretty much stay away from them. I'm going to put some more of this root mass expanders in here, Piranha, Voodoo Juice, and Tarantula. And then we've already inoculated the seedling. And I'm going to take this styrofoam here, kind of like recycling. I always say the best way to recycle is don't use it. So we actually got to reuse these. These are just simple McDonald's cups. And this is pretty wet in here. You can see it's dripping. That's really what you want. When you transplant, you want the soil good and wet, because if you don't, it's going to fall apart on you. We want to try to keep the root system intact. Be careful, you don't want to break the roots. You can see already the roots of this seedling are all the way to the bottom. See those roots? All the way to the bottom of the pot. So we're gently going to put in here, trying not to disturb the roots. And we're going to pack this in. 291 Kent, this may be my next world record right here. We'll add some more soil. We'll need some more soil. Add some soil around here. Blow off the dirt. And here you go. Here's your 291 Kent transplanted and ready to go in a 2-gallon pot. This will probably stay in here. Actually, this is 2 gallons. This is probably good. This watermelon could live a month in this easily. A month. And that's the big mystery. We don't know if it's 70 degrees out and beautiful right now here in Michigan, Muddy Waters, Michigan, but we don't know what it's going to be doing here in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, there might be snow on the ground, for all we know. In fact, I just felt a raindrop. It's supposed to get cold the next couple days, so I'm ready. I'm in big pots. I'm ready to rock. So moving along with that, here's my pumpkin pot. Oh, go ahead, Mike. Show them that. Show them the Tarantula Voodoo Juice Piranha. You can buy those with a member's discount through worldwidegiantgrowers.com. Email me. I'll hook you up with a discount. Here's the 3-gallon pumpkin bag. This is what I'll be sticking my 2009 Wallace, 220 Tobacco. These will all be going in here. It's starting to rain. That's okay. I won't melt. I'm not made of sugar. Here's an experiment we did. These are radishes I started in my compost. I'm buying professional compost that's going to be brought in this year. These radishes were inoculated with these root mass expanders a couple weeks ago. I'm going to see what we got here for roots today. Let's see what we got. Here's the radishes. Let's take these open. See those roots? These are just simple radishes. I don't know if they're ready to eat yet. I doubt it. They're pretty young. Here's one of the roots on one of these radishes. Let me take that and... Yeah, they got a pretty good root going for only a couple weeks old. And you can see all the root mass in here. I'm actually getting tired of taking care of these things, so it's time. Look at them roots. So this is good compost. It passed the test. And the radishes, they're rooting in beautiful. So with that being said, did we cover everything here? We'll be back in 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to be back and transplanting these plants into the garden, into the kin caves. And so please join us, come back, and we will show you some more of Bubba's backyard secret growing tips with advanced nutrients. We've got 133 members on board, several world record holders from around the world. Excuse me. And we're gonna set some records this year, as we did last year. This year we're really gonna set them on fire. It's our first year using the root mass expanders, all 3 of them. Thank you for seeing us today. Thank you very much. Remember, shh, it's a secret. Go tell a friend, but keep it a secret. Bubba's Secret Garden, backyard growing tips.